We're hot on our new airship before our skybound trip. Around the lower decks we did roam. We searched for some food, found instructions too. On to Linarmal soon, the Countess's home. So blow up the big balloon, we'll be amongst the clouds soon. Hope that the evermores is where we are blown. Search for a shell, hope we do well. On to Linarmal soon, the Countess's home. Before we hit the skies, we must gather lots of wood. Without a roaring fire, this limp balloon will be no good. We know where we can tear some down. It's time to take apart the town. The adventure continues.
So, new session. We find ourselves in Snow's Rest. You had all arrived here earlier in the day, did a reconnaissance of the area, and found that it was a destroyed and deserted town set amongst what Stuart would absolutely not let me have, which was an archipelago of mountains.
Yeah.
Absolutely wouldn't let me have
Can't
that. Yeah, there was one standing house, which appeared to be the home of one Amadeus Tuna, who was also the owner of, who was the previous owner, I should say, of the airship, because as we all know now, it's Gregomel, because he wrote his name out. And we find ourselves sat atop the ship itself. It's about 4 p.m. And yeah, you have the choice of what you wish to do now, whether you wish to just mill about until the end of the day. I think the end of the last session, you sort of took the view that you didn't want to.
I think we ended on recognising that we'd have to dismantle some of the town to repair the airship, and I think that's
The airship itself, fine. You did. It was dismantling the town to build up reserves for fuel.
Oh, I thought it was in disrepair. Maybe I'm misremembering. But that's
No,
fine.
the airship itself is actually fine. The balloon is deflated because it's listened to our podcast for the last 4 years, and it's a joke about how shit we are. And yeah, so that needs that needs filling up with hot air. Luckily, MJ doesn't. And then, but otherwise, the ship is, as far as you can tell, in decent condition. Someone has repaired it. You had actually seen that there were patches that looked different to the rest of the ship. So someone has already done a job of putting this together.
Maybe that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. So there had been. You had noticed that there were some patches that looked like they may have been, the wood may have been taken from other structures.
Okay.
As I say, it's 4 p.m. It's entirely up to you what you wish to do at this point.
It's 4 p.m. and it's literally just outside the town. There's no.
It's pretty much.
There's no walk to.
No, I mean only a walk. Only a very short walk between the buildings. It's not like you've had to traipse off to find it.
Did we not decide we were gonna stay on the airship, pull the ladder up, and keep watch?
Yeah, I think
Just
so.
the evening.
But we still need. We could do with doing
fuel.
something before bedtime, couldn't we? So we could do with getting the fuel and everything.
So I was going to say, do we? Are we, for like role play purposes? Are we going to get? We're going to get to this part of town with the houses and stuff. Do we need like demolition tools? Do we need like axes and stuff like that? Or are we just going to lop at it with our sort of casual weapons?
Give me an investigation roll.
Yeah, that's not going to be great, but let's see. An 11.
11. I think that's enough to know. I mean, this place, you could see that some of it had been. I think at one point you guys had actually noticed. I think it may have been before you'd gone to Amadeus's house. You'd noticed that some of the wood had actually been sawn off rather than sort of destroyed. So the fact that someone had the ability to do that, potentially there's a saw around here in the first place.
Okay.
But also, it's probably the wood is still probably in a decent enough condition, although you haven't tested it, that it's not just going to pull apart necessarily. You might be able to get some bits from doing so.
Okay.
Obviously, your weapons are sharp, but they're not necessarily.
You don't want to mess them up by trying to chop at houses.
Yeah, indeed.
So I think even if we gather the bare minimum in terms of like supplies, we can at least do like a search for tools to aid us if we do want to spend the next day doing some demolition. So I mean, it's 4 p.m. I don't know how long it's going to take us to find tools, but maybe we could head out and do that.
I think maybe search the airship.
Yeah.
You've largely done that in terms of. So just to give you a refresher, I think I gave you guys a picture before. Essentially, for those that are on Roll20, I'll actually move you onto that map of it. But essentially, the construction of the ship is you've got the where is it? You've got the main body of the ship itself is similar to a boat of sorts. You've got the balloon. The main deck has. Move you to this. Okay. The main deck has like a brazier, in effect, in the middle of it. A large brazier, which is obviously, you can tell, is going to be intended for filling the hot air balloon. There was a ballista and a harpoon gun.
Yeah.
Downstairs, Greg had done some investigating and found some quarters down there, as well as a storeroom which found largely mouldy food. But in one of the quarters, you obviously found the instructions that there'd been one of the crew had sort of been making notes about how to fly the ship. So you've got a fairly decent idea of how to get this thing off the ground. You haven't really found in that investigation anything of much more interest. There appears to be a lever or a lever, depending on how you pronounce it, which is going to be used to turn the propeller, which is at the back of the boat. Back of the ship. You're not sure how that works, but as far as you're concerned, it works. And that's about it. That's about all you found on the boat itself. You essentially have the tools to do what you need to do. The notes from the crew member sort of gives you an idea that it's going to take you about an hour to inflate the balloon. Once you get the brazier going, it gives you rough idea of how you need to maneuver the ship. And in fact, I'll give you this from a mechanical point of view. The reality is, it's probably going to need 3 of you at any given time to get this when you're up in the air. You're going to need a captain who's going to be essentially responsible for surveying, ensuring that that they know what needs to be done. Then you're going to have somebody who's going to be steering the ship, and then you're going to have someone who's going to be involved in the propeller and keeping the brazier topped up.
Do we want to assign roles now?
Well, it's a bit pointless before we got the material to actually make it float.
Yeah.
Fine.
I was as well. This is going to be, bearing in mind none of you have experience in this. In theory, so from a game point of view, I was going to be setting you 8-hour shifts on this, because obviously you're going to need rest as well. So we'll get to that once you get yourselves up in the air. So you won't have one captain, because that captain isn't going to stay up 24 hours straight. I would assume that's entirely up to you. You can do that if you wish, but obviously you're going to be risking exhaustion and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so I think we just need to go and smash. One last question, sorry. How do we know that we need fuel for is the brazier like a furnace?
Yeah, it's just like there's a big sort of large sort of bowl bucket type thing where you can just, you can even, as you're looking around, you can even see maybe some remnants of some wood in there.
Not the only brazier I've seen with wood and some buckets. Anyway, oh no, that's Brazzers, isn't it? No, sorry. Okay, lovely. Yeah, so I think, just go and smash up some houses and not, delicately get some planks and whatnot.
Okay. So you're gonna go and you're gonna go and find that. Anything else you want to do before we get you on the road, so to speak?
Want to throw out all the dirt, all the mouldy food and everything from that we found on the boat, and just have a tidier.
Shall we split?
Yeah.
Is it stupid to suggest splitting up? A couple of us go tool hunting, a couple of us do some housekeeping.
I think we've got enough time that just everyone do all of it.
Yeah, Dweezil's got some plans about like pimping out the boat though, making it look a bit more sick. Like, for example, we've never done anything with the Troll's Head, have we? We could turn this into the Troll's Royce.
Wow. There it is.
Nice.
Needs a better pun.
We've got a few
It doesn't-
giant heads we could do something with. I don't think we're ever going to return those. I don't. And technically, even if we stick them on the ship, we've still got them to eventually maybe take them back later on.
Yeah.
As I think we discovered last week, there was no name on the boat. I don't think there was any name on the paperwork, and there's certainly nothing emblazoned across this. So you have the opportunity to name this ship should you wish to do so.
Given that we are the circus and it's got a balloon, we could call it the Big Top. Yeah, beat me to it by about half a second.
No, this is obviously the AS Sebastian.
Fuck
Wow.
right off.
Wow. What a lovely way to commemorate that big
No,
bag.
let's not.
It's not as good as Blimp Biscuit, though, is it?
Yeah.
Well, I quite like
Or the Vindaloo
giant
bird.
thrust.
Blimp Biscuit is probably my favourite one that's come up in conversation.
Means nothing in this world though. Like people would see it and go,
Yeah.
I don't understand the reference.
Yeah. We'd have to
I'm
keep
sure
explaining
all references we make. Do you remember what we used to talk about? What was that right at the start? Belle Delphine in a bathwater. Really,
God.
episode 1, really relevant to the world, wasn't it?
Yeah, but there was no one around. You weren't going up to the goblins and setting out this. Anyway,
I was trying to sell it in the local shop. I don't know what you mean. Buy this bathwater.
What about Delphine's Pride then?
so let me get this right. So essentially, Dweezil wants to make the boat more presentable. Krill wants to get some wood for burning.
Yeah.
Any other tasks that you want to be doing with these sort of remaining hours until bedtime?
Probably best to give it a once over.
I was going to say, make some coffee with the splinters of wood. Just make a little fire. Yeah, standard.
Yeah.
Oh, just very quick. Just before we head off and do anything else, is the harpoon loaded?
There appears to be one in there, and obviously you did find the other one on the on your travels, so you do have two.
What about the ballista? Is there ammo for the ballista?
Doesn't seem to be any ammo for the ballista.
Would that be bolts? Like big bolts?
Where's the ballista? Oh, it's at the back of the top deck. Okay. Behind the wheel. Understood. And
there's none there. It is ultimately, as Stuart said, bolts, but larger bolts that you'd expect than a crossbow or anything like that. Okay, so the plan is, all of you, are you all going to do everything together, or are you going to split up?
I think we said together. Yeah. Quick tidy up.
Yeah. Okay.
Whoosh, whoosh with a broom.
In reality, the ship is in, aside from a layer of snow on the top of the ship from where it has been snowing and whatnot. It's not in a terrible condition. Yes, there's some cleaning and some tidying to be done, but it's not going to take you long if all five of you are working together as the cohesive team that we know that you can be. So I assume you maybe do that first. And you get it into a much more ship-shape condition and something that you can be proud to ride the airways in. Then off to go and get some wood now, yeah. So let's say that takes you combined a couple of hours to get all that all done and dusted. So we get to about 6 o'clock. The sun's starting to set a little bit. You've still got enough daylight to do some of the work, but you reckon you can get yourself sorted, especially with, I think, as I think Greg's got things like light and stuff like that, and obviously you guys got dark vision and whatnot, so you can certainly be working in the dusk. Your instructions that you found talk through how much, how quickly the wood gets burnt, how much you need to inflate the balloon, how much you would need to keep it topped up, generally speaking, for, let's say, an hour's flight. So you can extrapolate from that and work out, roughly speaking, how much wood you would need. All of you roll me a perception, please.
Correct. 18.
Perception.
17.
17 for me too.
That's a 10 for me.
Okay. Those of you with anything above 13, you look around the town, and you think even without Amadeus's house, you reckon that based on your calculations, there will be enough there for probably about 72 hours worth of flight. You obviously need to store it, bring it aboard the boat and whatnot, but you reckon if you were to essentially tear apart everything that's still remaining standing, furniture, anything that you can find that's wooden and burns, you'll get about 3 days worth of flight out of the gale. On that point, you have a look at your map to try and work out if that's enough. And you estimate that the distance from where you are now to the Evermoors, which is where you know that Countess Sensori's castle is located, you estimate is probably around 280 miles. The instructions that you had suggested that on a good day, the airship can fly about 8 miles per hour. So you work out that you've got enough, you should have enough wood and enough time to get there, depending on weather, depending on other things. But obviously, you, worst case scenario, might have the opportunity to descend, get some more fuel, and fly back up, should you need to do so.
Nice.
Okay. So yeah, you take the time working into the night, finding everything, piling it up by the ship, and we get to about 10 o'clock, and you've done that. You've got all your fuel. You've tidied up the boat. You've set out to do a couple of tasks, and you managed to do them. Anything else you want to do before you have a little long rest?
I think we should assign rooms.
Are you sleeping on the boat?
I would assume so.
Yeah.
I assume we would, yeah. And there seems to be 5 rooms, like 4 bedrooms and then the storage room at the front.
Okay. Go ahead. Crack on.
Anyone got any preferences?
Wait, I don't understand. How's there 5 rooms?
There's four rooms.
4 bedrooms, but then there's a storage room at the front, isn't there?
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
I won't be sleeping in the storage. So...
I don't know, it's the bigger room.
We'll presumably do a watch anyway.
Yeah.
Well, there's always going to be 3. There's probably always going to be 3 people working.
True.
I will take front left.
I will take first watch and then take whoever's room is taking second watch.
I'm going to take the storeroom.
Are we saying interchangeable rooms? So you just... Mike's just following whoever's just woken up and sleeping in their warm bed. Still warm from the last person. I'll have this one.
Smart.
So,
Fucking Goldilocks here. No.
I'm going to take the storeroom because it's bigger.
Nice. Quinch doesn't care which room he gets. Whatever. He'll have the last one.
I'll go bottom right.
Just number them, and whichever one is numbered 2, they'll all want.
which one looks like it was the captain's room? Because that's the one Greg's having.
The storage room.
Just the corridor.
No, I can't take Quintus corridors.
That's a good point, actually. Are any of these rooms like labelled up? Do any of them say?
Oh yeah, anything
Like-
on doors.
No,
Captain
you don't.
Tuner or...
Are there any belongings in the rooms? Did we find? Sorry.
We did search.
You found a
them,
few. Yeah, you found nothing of interest. You found a few sort of scraps of clothing and stuff like that, but nothing of any particular.
But did it?
The instructions were down there on how to run the ship. Basically.
Yeah, I know there was nothing of interest, but was it a few scraps of clothing that somebody had left them there intending to come back, or had somebody cleared out all their belongings? And
No. It was fairly clear. You probably get the impression from the note that you found. You know, people don't necessarily live on this by any means. You know, there would have been people that worked on it, but you know, they only ever stayed on it when there was long distance travel or something like that.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, what sort of fucking idiot sleeps on a boat?
I don't know. Wouldn't want to comment. That's a terrible thing to even discuss. Okay, so you assigned your rooms. Did you assign your rooms?
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously, you're going to be all separated out. What are you going to do about things like evening watch?
Greg's going to take the first one, so just go up on deck for it.
I could set up a rota.
Okay. In which case, then, if you're all settling down, anyone want to do anything before the nighttime routine?
No.
I'll just make the storeroom a little bit more comfy. Push some things to the side. Set a little bedding area.
Okay.
Well, I suppose I'll read my book.
It's been many weeks and months since you last read it. Remind me of the name of the book.
Arcana Blaze. I don't know if it's
Arcana Blast.
Yeah,
Arcana
Blazer or Blaster.
You get to a really juicy bit where there's actually like 5 blasts.
All right, nice.
Yeah, it's really good. Some of it arcanic, and arcane, and some of it not. Some of it's just a normal blast.
Oh,
yeah, saucy.
Okay. Nice.
Okay, give me your perception rolls for the evening, then, for your routines.
3.
13.
Ooh, 19.
14.
Can double beat Dweezil.
11.
11. Dweezil is the most perception-y of the lot of you. You sit out on the ship, feeling somewhat regal by having this craft that you're going to be flying at some point in I assume the next day. Despite that, though, and knowing that you're in an area that has seen some devastation at some point in its not too distant history, you are very keen to make sure that you aren't caught napping. And you stride across the boards, looking from one side to the other. Nothing happens aside from hearing a few animal noises, a few howls off into the distance. Not too dissimilar to the crag cats that you fought on one of your very first days in the north, which brings you back memories of your this sort of portion of travel. And your times with our esteemed colleague Harshnag. But otherwise, nothing. You get through the night perfectly fine. No blinks, no nothing. We get to the morning. About 6 o'clock, start stirring. Are you ready to go? Are you wanting to set off, or is there anything else you wish to do before you leave Snow's Rest?
Did we do the decorate? Did you do your decorations?
Yeah, we just had a tidy up and a bit of a, it's not like I painted it and put fluffy dice up and everything. Just tried to get it.
Can we hang some truck nuts off the back?
Yeah. We've got truck
need
nuts.
some truck nuts.
We've got
Dragging truck nuts.
Do you remember Moonies from the people had them in the car in the 80s? You press a little button and a man pulled his pants down.
Nice.
Yeah, you'd have to stand on the parcel.
I mean, I do that now, but I didn't realise it was a thing.
What's the little bobblehead dog?
Yeah, we've got one of them.
Honk if you're horny sticker on the back. Yeah.
Lovely.
I'll be so sick if we get a honk. Really surprised.
In the middle of the sky. Yeah, Confederate flag on the roof, obviously. You know.
Right. So you go about your morning business, get yourselves tidied up, and you start to decide to set sail. As I say, this is going to take about an hour to get the balloon inflated. And let's say we get to about 8 o'clock and you've done that. You've started burning the fuel. The balloon itself is inflated and ready to go. As I said earlier, we need three people to fly this ship. We need a captain, we need a pilot, and we need I don't know what the term would be, but a workhorse.
I will pilot.
I will shovel fuel.
So just to give you an insight, there will be some roles for this. The person who is the captain will be rolling for insight. The person who is piloting will be sleight of hand. And the person who is doing the propeller and shoveling the fuel will be athletics.
Right.
Yeah.
So realistically,
I'm basically only set to pilot. I can't really do anything else.
Me and Daboff can pilot.
And I'm built to shovel
Shit.
Yeah.
Is Greg particularly wise?
Not particularly.
No,
He's
none of
very
us have
middle
got.
of the road.
None of us have got good insight.
Has anyone got a positive insight?
0? Is that?
It is technically a +0.
Flat
Yeah,
rolls.
it is plus, yeah.
Yeah, I'm flat rolls on the insight.
So
I'll
you
do
say
the
it
insight
takes.
then. It sounds like I'm the best for it.
Greg's doing 24-hour shifts.
Yeah.
as a captain.
Greg wanted to be the captain. There you go.
Yeah.
You
He's doing
say
like
it.
Tom and Jerry, like taping his eyes open.
You say.
Well, I mean,
He's got coffee though. Sorry, MJ keeps going to talk. Go on.
Go on, MJ.
You say it takes 3 people to fly, but can the people who aren't like flying, can they not either help out or at least like apprentice?
But I think the
And
problem
sort
is
of
that they
learn.
have to swap in when the other people go to sleep.
Yeah. So the point is, so you're going to have 3 at any given time that are essentially doing this, and you are going to need to be resting at some point. You're probably going to find because of the need of having 3 people at any given time, you're not going to be able to necessarily get into a good sleeping pattern because you can't have a long rest more than once every 24 hours. So whoever comes off the first shift, for example, can't go and have an 8-hour kip because it's not been 24 hours since their last flight. This is the last thing. So what you're probably going to find is a little bit of a disjointed sleeping pattern to get this to get to the castle, and there's a chance that some of you might get to the castle exhausted.
What is the reason that we wouldn't sleep? Like we wouldn't stop? Sorry.
If you wanted to just literally overnight park the ship and sleep, you're more than welcome to. It's just obviously a speed thing. It was just on the assumption that you might want to be trying to get there as soon as you possibly can.
I think we should probably do like a double shift and then sleep.
Or what we could do each day is like an 8-hour morning shift where half of us do it, 8-hour afternoon shift, then 8 hours sleep at night.
That's just what I said.
I thought you meant get exhausted and then rest just before we get there.
Land it every night.
I mean,
Yeah?
that's
Land
what,
it every night.
I mean, that's what people would do, right? Surely in real life, like
No.
I will. You would also remember that that Felgloss is on the ship being tortured.
We'll
yeah,
get
he's
there.
a tough old boy.
Yeah, but we need our beauty sleep.
Yeah.
Why don't we just
We'd
fly
be very
to the
torched if we
nearest
show up
town
ugly.
and just hire a random guy?
Oh, hello. Yeah,
Can Vin do anything?
the help.
Vin can captain.
Can Vin do anything?
Vin captain.
I would say probably not, because I don't think an owl would be able to captain in the way. You would have to be looking through the owl and making, so you'd have to be the captain essentially yourself.
You know, actually I was about to say one of the only ones with flight experience, but then we got Quinch and Greg.
And also, I would imagine there's a difference between flying with wings and flying with a balloon, which requires changing
Hot
of
air thrust and stuff
yeah.
like that. Like,
yeah. It's like saying, "Oh, I can
Fine.
walk, so therefore I can drive a car." Like it's a completely different type of
Fine.
version.
What about Mage Hand? Can Mage Hand do anything?
But no, no. But no. I mean, look. I had worked under the assumption you might want to just try and get there as fast as you possibly can. But if you want to set down,
we could. But I just don't understand how we could possibly do how a 5-man.
I'm
24-hour rotor would work.
I'm currently breaking the day up into 6 4s and seeing if there's. I'm literally doing this. I'm doing the admin and seeing if what the best way of doing is so that people aren't doing 16 hours and then sleeping for 8 hours.
But the problem is that if 3 of us do 16 hours and then go to sleep. There's not then 3 people awake to...
Exactly. That's what I'm thinking. It needs to be it needs to be 4-hour blocks where people carry on. There's it's definitely work out. I mean, I don't... Do you want me to actually work it out? I've got a pen. Or can you... I mean, everyone. I mean, Nathan... I'm asking you, Nathan. Do you really want to make me do this much admin?
Yeah. If you want to. I mean, I've given you what I set out as the mechanics. I'm happy for you to try and fudge the system in a way that it works for you guys. Or alternatively, you just do what the other guys have suggested, which is you have a beauty sleep.
No, I don't want to have a beauty sleep. I want to get there quick.
And see if Felgloss is dead by the time.
I mean, if Dabov has to get some exhaustion and get some a disadvantage, like my sleight of hand's so high that it. Even at disadvantage, it's not really an issue. So Dabov can take double shifts if need be.
Yeah, disadvantage. I mean, the disadvantage first level is basically exhaustion first level is disadvantage on ability checks.
Yeah. So
first level exhaustion is not terrible. It's not great, but it's manageable.
But ability checks is literally what we're using to fly this thing.
It is, but I think no, because I think you would be able to get there and not get exhausted, but when you get there, you might be exhausted. If that makes sense. Like if you got into a pattern, you would make sure that you got your sleep to. Let's put it this way: if you were to work through, you know it's going to take over 2 days or about 2 days to get there. So the reality is, by the time you've got exhausted, you're probably going to have a long rest, which gets rid of that exhaustion.
Okay.
But one or two of you might get to the castle and be exhausted. But even at that point, you might decide, you know what, rather than us storming it now, we go and get a break now.
What would the criteria be for becoming exhausted?
Essentially going longer than 24 hours without a long rest. Which is possible, but then, I think you could. Well,
you're saying longer than 24 hours. So if we did 2 people do 60 hours and then switch, and then the third person does 24, then they hit that 24. They have a long rest. They're not exhausted because they've not gone long. They've gone 24 hours without a long rest, but they've not gone longer than 24 hours.
You could conceivably, if you wanted to, have the same people. Yeah, you could have the same 3 do 16 have 16 hours straight. You could, in theory, have someone who does three people do 16 hours straight, then they get a long rest.
Stuart's cracked it.
First 4 hours, Gregomel, Dabov, and Quinch.
Mm-hmm.
Second 4 hours, Quinch, Dweezil, and Krill. Third 4 hours, Dweezil, Krill, and Greg. The fourth 4 hours, Dabov, Greg, and Dweezil. The dream team. No idiots. The fifth 4 hours, Dabov, Krill, and Quinch. The sixth 4 hours,
mostly idiots.
Someone else.
All right.
Just 3 other people. So you've
and then
always got.
Rotate that.
Yes, you've always got. And then the 6th, 4th hours gets rotated a bit amongst it over the course of days as well, because there is a bit of an imbalance. But yeah, this is doable. And then the maximum that anyone's doing there is 4 4-hour shifts. 3 of the people will do 4 4-hour shifts. Let's just say that they're all getting an 8-hour chunk. If I'd done the work right, it's definitely doable for everyone to get an 8-hour sleep in there.
Okay.
Yeah. On what I've written down, that might not always be the case.
Let's work it through. All right, let's do our first 4-hour shift then.
Right.
And let's see what happens. Right, who's the first 4?
Right, hang on. So let's start with Gregomel, Dabov, and Quinch. Mm-hmm. Captain Greg, Dabov the pilot. quench the feeder of fires.
Dog's body.
Nice.
Yeah.
Right then. So who was your captain? Sorry.
Me?
Gregor
Okay.
Wallows.
Okay. Right. So you get. Let's set the scene a little bit here. You filled the balloon. The balloon is now fully inflated of this hot air. The ship is there's. You tried your best to ensure that the wood is stacked in a suitable way that it's able to easily retrieve and feed the fire throughout your journey. You can feel as the balloon fully sort of inflates, you can feel that it's wanting to take the ship upwards, and you can feel that the ship is just a little bit more where it's been steady and sat on the ground while you've been using it up till now. You can feel it just sort of like shifting on the snow under your feet. It was tied down. I think one of you is going to get off the ship and make sure that it is uncut. Who's doing that? Who's letting the ship loose?
I think
it makes sense for me to do it because I can fly if it flies away.
Okay. You get off the ship, get out. Hey, shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Or undo the knot so we can reuse the rope.
No, it just hits the boat. Just hits the ship. Not even the rope itself.
Chops the mooring point off. Yeah.
Okay, you do that, and you fly back up and find yourself off, and the ship itself starts to ascend into the heavens.
Another delicious episode in the can. Thanks for listening. You can find us on social media. Maybe you could share your favourite moments with us. If you have any friends or family that you think would enjoy the antics of the circus, we'd appreciate it if you told them about our podcast. What is this voice? I don't know, but isn't it just so?
If you have any spare change, you can support us financially on Ko-fi. It is of paramount importance that you do so.
Open square bracket. Hi lads, here's the script for the outro I'm planning to record. I don't know how to end it, so let me know if you can think of anything witty to finish it at. Oh.